Welcome back to the video, guys. My name is Everletcher, and today we are back in the Clash Royale video. Today we are back with episode 2 of ranking every card in Clash Royale. So last video we did legendaries. We did every single legendary. Check that out. I'll have that somewhere. Just it'll be on the end screen, so just wait till the end of the video and you can check it out there. But today we're going to be doing a tier list of ranking every single common card in Clash Royale. So if I'm not mistaken, we have 28 common cards. So let's just go ahead and start the ranking list right here. You can see over here I have the archers right here. The first one that we have, and in my personal opinion, the archers are great, but I would not put them in the gas tier just because, well, I mean, they're just overall a good card, but really, you can't take out a whole freaking king tower with it, and like, it's not the most useful in the entire game, so I'm putting it at almost gas. So next thing we have is going to be the bomber. The bomber overall, especially with this new nerf that they had on it, where they reverted it to 2 elixir, not reverted, but they changed it to 2 elixir, I'm going to say it's gas. It's just one of the best defensive cards in the game, especially on the common cards. We are only comparing these to the other common cards in the game, and in my personal opinion, I think we get more use out of the bomber than we do with the archers. They're both still great cards. Next thing we have is going to be the minions. Just the regular minions. They're great, but they're not the greatest card in the game, and I would honestly put them at eh just because, like I said, they're not the greatest, but they're still pretty freaking good. Like, eh doesn't mean they're bad. They're just not as good as almost gas. Next thing we have is going to be the skeleton barrel, and just going to put it up here. I think it's going to be almost gas, especially when played properly. This thing is going to be absolutely great. It's one of the best cards, not one of the best cards, but it's a really good card, and when people play it properly, it works great. Does a lot of damage on the tower. I think the only way to really shut it down completely is to put like a horde directly underneath it, or to just zap it or arrow it right away, or poison or something like that. So typically speaking, you're going to get a couple hits on the tower when you play it, if it gets all the way to the tower, unless you place like a building to distract it. But that's why we're putting it right there. Next thing we have is going to be the zap. I think the zap is 100% gas. It's one of the best spells, especially one of the best common spells. Also, we have the arrows, also gas, especially how it's not how it used to be, and it goes through like waves. It's not all placed at once like it used to be back in OG Clash Royale, so that's what we're putting that in gas as well. Next thing is the barbarians. The barbarians are great for taking out, especially since they added it with a 5th barbarian. They did it a while back. Definitely think it's an almost gas just because it's great for taking out most tanks, and essentially, unless they have a Valkyrie, Executioner, or a Fireball or something like that, you're going to get a lot of damage on defensively using the barbarians. The next thing we have is going to be the bats over here. I think they're basically about the same thing as the minions. I personally take bats over minions now just because you have more, they're cheaper. So that's why I put them, but overall they're about the same. A little bit less HP. That's really all it is. Next thing we have is going to be the cannon. And honestly, I was going to put it at eh, but I'm going to put it at kind of eh, but not too trash, just because it's kind of useless. Nobody really uses it except for hog cycles. So I'm just going to put it kind of eh, but not too trash, just because overall, it's not that great of a card. Next thing we have is going to be the Electro Spirit, and I'm going to put this thing at eh. I love the card itself, but overall, I just think it's just not the most useful card in the game. There's some situations where it's great, but overall, it's just not that great. So let's go in there. Next thing we have is the E-Barbs, absolutely gas. I would put them at broken, but they did revert one of the buffs for it, so it's no longer broken. It's still really good, though. That's why it's going at gas. Next thing we have is going to be the Firecracker. That's going to be almost gas, because overall, it's like a mini princess. It's not quite a princess, but it's kind of like a princess, so it's great. The only issue is if the person you're playing against is really smart, they can get you to get damage on their king tower pretty soon. But yeah, Firecracker, almost gas. Next thing we have is going to be the Fire Spirits. Once again, almost gas. It's just great in lots of situations, typically defensively. And if they let them go and you have a tank and it gets to the tower, they do a lot of damage. Next thing we have is going to be the Snowball. When used strategically, the Snowball is absolutely amazing. Great card. And I would definitely just say, like, learn to use it properly, because it's only 2 elixir, and it's great. Next thing we have is going to be the Goblin Gang. I'm putting Goblin Gang at almost gas just because it's really good defensively. That's really the main thing. And you can use them to help support your push as well. Absolutely great. I'm going to put the Goblins at kind of eh, but not too trash, just because by themselves, they're not the greatest defensively. Me personally, I'd rather take Skeletons over that, just because over the Goblins, just because the Skeletons are cheaper. But that being said, the Goblins are not bad, though. They're really not bad. And I want to be very clear, kind of but not too trash. It doesn't mean they're bad. I don't think there's any terrible cards in the game. Next thing we have is going to be the Ice Spirit. Ice Spirit is absolutely almost gas, just because, once again, used strategically with 1 elixir, it is really good. I say it you definitely get more use with the Ice Spirit than you do with the Electro Spirit. That's why I'm putting it almost gas. Next thing we have is going to be the Knight. The Knight's going to be I was going to put it almost gas just because of how good it is defensively and how good it is for distracting units. But that's really all it's really used for. So that's why it's going to the ass section. Next up, we have the Minion Horde, and I would love to put them lower than the Minions, just because you don't really get as much use with them. Like, they're great, but 5 elixir as compared to the minions are 3 elixir, and they get taken out just as easily. So that's why I would put the minions above them, but we're going to put them in the same tier at the ant category because essentially you're going to get the, it's just a higher risk, higher reward type of situation. So I'm putting it both at ant. Next thing we have is the mortar. In the mortar, I was going to put it almost gas, but in today's Clash Royale, I'm gonna put it at It's not a bad it's not a bad building at all, but overall, it's just not the greatest. We're also gonna go with the Rascals over here at Ant tier as well, just because overall they're not the greatest. They're not bad troops at all, but we're going at Ant tier. Next thing we have is gonna be the Skeleton Dragons. Definitely going to the Ant tier. I love the card so much, but overall the usefulness, I'd rather just take a actual dragon, the baby dragon, or I'd rather just take an Electro Dragon over them. But for the they're not bad. We're putting them at Ant. Spirit Goblins are going at almost gas, just because once again, defensively, especially grouped. Actually, no, we're gonna put them at I'm not gonna put them at almost gas. We'll put them at They're not the greatest. Hidden Tesla, 100% going into gas. Absolutely amazing. Next thing we have is the Royal freaking Trash Can. We're putting that at kind of but not too trash, just because overall, there's not too many uses for it. Next thing we have the Royal GG. That is 100% going up here into the gas section. Oh, wrong card. Gas section. Next thing we have is the Royal Recruits. This thing is going to be going into the Ant category once again. And lastly, we have my boy Larry sitting by himself. And guys, I'm sorry. Larry's broken. Nobody compares to Larry. Larry has been here since day 1 Clash of Clans. And yeah, Larry is absolutely broken. Best card in the game. No cap about it. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Comment down below if there's anything you would change with this, and comment down below if you want to see more tier lists. Just social support, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you all have a very blessed day, and goodbye.